Welcome to the Checkered Shorts Podcast, a podcast of three fraternity brothers reconnected by their love of IndyCar. Join us for grid-rival IndyCar fantasy talk, predictions for upcoming races, and reactions to race day results and all things IndyCar. Let's go racing! Hey, welcome back to Checkered Shorts. This is episode number 26, and we turned the corner, and we're on our way building up to that number 50. That's where you've made it in the podcast.
This is us.
There we go. There we go. So episode 26, Professor Dinwiddie, I'm sure we got something special to come along with the reference to number 26.
26. I know this guy has had a lot of numbers in his day, and I think he did it for branding purposes back in the mid to late teens. But 26, when I think of 26, I think of the Venom car, the Snapple car, Marco Andretti. So Marco stood out for me with 26. I believe it was the 26 car he was in when Sam Hornish got him heading to the line in that famous race.
NYSE. In the New York Stock Exchange car that day?
That's right. I think that was the 26.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But as far as Indy 500 champion, our last champion that drove 26 after Marco exited that car was Takuma Sato. In 2017, he drove the 26 car to drink the milk. So 26, it's an Andretti number, has been for a long time now. And so we'll give it to those two this week.
All right. That's a good history lesson, again, from our resident historian here, Professor Brian Dinwiddie. So if you guys ever have any questions or you have any relevant facts you want to share, make sure you chime in the comment section. We'd love to learn from you guys as well.
We'll pass those on to Donald Davidson. He'll be able to answer them.
There you go. All right. And so to start off in this pre-race build-up, let's go to our power ranking. That's one thing we didn't get to in our post-race because of time. And after looking at the finishes and looking where we're at throughout the season, where did our power rankings come out after you averaged them together, Brian?
Yeah, it's interesting, and we can chat about it a little bit after. I'd really like you guys, as I'm going through these, think about where we were at the beginning of the season, where we were after those first few races versus where we are today. So I'll start at the bottom, and this is interesting that I said that because number 10 on our list is the driver of the Thirsty Threes, Scotty Mack, comes in at number 10. At number 9, Felix Rosenquist. And interestingly, two of us didn't have him in our top 10, but the other one had him high enough that he ended up finishing in our average top 10.
You remember how well he was doing at the beginning of the season? Wasn't battling for wins necessarily, but was consistent. Top 5s, maybe a top 10 in there. We're like, holy moly! Like Felix is maybe figuring it out.
He is still sixth in the standings.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's good. Good point.
He's been performing consistently. You can tell who had him in his top 10.
In his top 5, yeah. Keith had him at number 5. Pat and I didn't have him anywhere in ours. Number 8 is David Malukas. Solid performances. Don't think he's gotten to finish the last 2 weeks that he deserved, but has really been on a move here. And if you've listened to some interviews with him, they're starting to figure it out. It took him a while with a new crew, new team, but he's feeling pretty confident now.
Yeah, I think so. I think we talked about it. He is getting more confident. He's still just making not rookie mistakes, but just still learning how to drive these things and, situational. Gets caught up just like what happened at Gateway at Worldwide. Just probably shouldn't have been up that high. And that's what caught him. So,
next on our list, number 7 is Willie P. Power comes in. We all three had him on our rankings, but we kind of varied. One of us had him in our top 5, and then he was also at number 10 for one of us. So, and that's kind of been how his season's been. We started off with the crash at St. Pete, and then we, have had some good performances like at Detroit, but then Indy was just horrid. Like he looked like Graham Rahal out there in Indy this year. But, and then this weekend, how do you just drove the right tire off of his car. So
Yep.
number 7, number 6, guy that keeps hanging in there. But I think this oval season is gonna bring him down a little bit. I mean, I'm predicting that as Christian Lundgaard. He's down at number 6 now. He just kind of keeps edging down our list a little bit.
You were curious. We had him up higher because we haven't really had an true oval like we did. But no, you called that one a few weeks ago, waiting to see what these ovals he can do. And you got to be good at them, man.
We say that, but he's got a road course coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
And
2 in a row with Ohio backing it up too.
So just like, it took Scotty Mack a few years, right? Took Kirkwood more than a few years. Took Palou a few years. So he's still in that cusp or that range of, you got to figure it out here soon, Christian, especially on a good team. So
that's correct. Number 5, Scotty Dixon. And what can we say? Like, when I ranked him that high, I was like, he can't be that high, but he is.
Steady Eddie.
He just gets it done.
Yeah,
that's what Scott does. Number 4, look at this guy, Santino Ferrucci, our Post Malone concert buddy, is up to number 4 in the power rankings. But he has those last 3 races, he's at top 5s.
Yeah.
And, Detroit may have been a strategy play, but he held his position once he got there. And this weekend we watched him. Like, if he'd had, it was kind of like last year, if he'd have had 3 more restarts, he probably wins the race. The guy is amazing on restarts on short ovals. And so back to back top 5s.
How many points did he have to forfeit in Detroit?
25.
25?
25 points.
He is 24 points behind Colton Herta.
Yeah.
So Santino's
the guy who finished second last year in the standings.
Yeah. Foyt Racing is on a roll with him and Malukas. They're getting it together. So that's our guy at number 4. And then I think our top 3 we all had these guys right there in those positions. So number 3 is the guy who's actually second in points, Pato Award. Just consistency. He's not. I think the big difference, he's not winning races. If he pulls off a couple of the wins that he could have had this year, he's in that number 2 spot. But really good for Pato because he's had more consistency this year than what we've seen in the past. So,
correct.
Number 2, our 3-time champion this year, 3-race winner, and in any other year that would be leading the series, I would think. Kyle Kirkwood,
probably.
And the big here, I think what helped us all put him at number 2 is it's not just street courses now. He's figured out how to run the short oval. So kudos to Kyle for moving up to number 2. And obviously Alex is still going to be in that number 1 spot, even though his point standings lead is down to 73 maybe. 73. He's still a race ahead. Probably still his to lose. Still his championship. But we've seen some kinks in the armor in the last couple of weeks. So
he's so sort of leading into that. He was last year's winner at Road America. But if something does happen to him and Kirkwood can get a strong finish and Pato can get a strong, can you get this thing down to 40 points, 50 points, and make this somewhat of a interesting.
Well, he is going to be in the Red Solo Cup, so maybe if he's kicked a few back, maybe he goes off road. No one gets hurt, but car's not going to get back on the track. Another did not finish. Maybe runs low laps, and next thing you know, we get that thing tightened up real tight.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't seen you need to check out his livery for this weekend. It's all about the Red Solo Cup.
Tubby Keith has since passed away, right?
Yes, he has.
Yeah. Damn, that was a good song. I like the point. Maybe he'll have a few too many cocktails the night before.
So who does that carve out of our top 10 that's a surprise? But if at the beginning of the season you would have said they'd be there, and they're not.
Oh, it's Colton Herta. Herta is next on our list. He and Marcus Armstrong are 11 and 12 on our list right now.
Newgarden's not on the list.
Newgarden's not on the list. Alexander Rossi, which I know Pat has some
see you later.
Giving up on Alex, and that's a guy who's been in our top 10 this year. is out of there now. So
is Scotty Mack? You put Scotty Mack in there?
Scotty Mack just barely got in. He was
Okay.
1 point ahead of those two, so he got in at number 10. But yeah, but that just tells you it's been a really competitive series this year.
Yes,
you know, other than Alex at the top, 2 through 15 have, you know, it's been a good battle.
We talked about it. I think it's a little bit of circumstantial stuff that just happens at races, but I think it is a little bit of these. We have some better drivers moving up the list. It's harder for Will Power to be a top 5. Colton Herta, like we said, should be a top 5. I think almost every darn race. You know, Dixon is, obviously Pato is. He's still in that caliber. Marcus Armstrong's not going to be a top 5 guy yet. So that's, but I to your point, I think it is more competitive. It is harder. And you're just not seeing a consistency from a Ferrucci yet to be a top 5 guy. But he's taking people's spots now.
I'll tell you what, 2 of the last 3 weeks, Connor Daly has put on the show.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's somebody to keep an eye on. Like, not saying he's a top 10 IndyCar driver. He's solid, but especially with oval season coming, we know Connor's really good there. But
it'll be fun to watch him in these ovals, just like it was.
Driving really hard.
And then Marcus Ericsson, another, you know, we talked about this earlier in the season. Like, he's got to be sweating his position because he's sitting 19th in points. I mean,
I think so.
That's rough.
Imagine if he didn't win a 500 and come second in the other one. Like, the guy would probably be on a lesser team. And no, I think that seat gets filled.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so moving on to Road America. Give us a little background for those of us that maybe seen a race or two on TV but don't have a lot of knowledge.
Well, it's one of those places that I love. I wish I'd been. You know, I do have it on my bucket list of places to visit. I hear great things about it. Obviously, it's a road course, so you got lots of big sweeping turns, lots of elevation changes. Was it 4 miles? I think in length, and then so that's really shortens the number of laps. I think we're 55 laps total, which, you know, we just came off a race that was 260, so that should tell you something when you're looking at number of laps led. But just a beautiful place. You know, I know people that have been there have told me it's a must go. It's a great experience, party atmosphere. But yeah, you're going to see those guys who really do well on road courses, I think, perform well here. Yeah.
It's 640 acres. It's a lot of real estate. And it's not too far from, it's Elkhart. So it's like a 4-hour drive. It's really not any further than Milwaukee, I don't think. It's a pretty easy drive, but it's a weekend.
I mean, what did you say? Like Barber was the Augusta. So does this make Road America like the Woodstock?
I mean, maybe
similar. Yeah, that's a good one.
Be a cool place, but I think IMSA's racing there. Is IMSA racing there? I don't remember. I think they are.
They do, but I don't know if it's this weekend. I think they're later in the year.
Okay. But my point is, it's a whole weekend type of thing from what we hear. Like, you just don't want to go for the race. You want to take your camper, rent a golf cart, and explore all of the grounds from every position, from every viewpoint. I think we've said it for the past 3 or 4 years that we would need to go. But
and as you cruise around in the golf cart, make sure you start by turn 4, catch up with our buddy Mickey.
Turn 4 Bar and Grill.
4 Bar and Grill.
We can attest. He doesn't make you pay for any beer. He'll just give them to you.
Nice.
Third 4 Bar and Grill.
He'll treat you right. He's good people. If you're listening, Mickey, we appreciate you.
You got lots of straightaways. You got a carousel turn down in 9 and 10. You've got lots of sharp 90s, but just a big long track that, you know, anytime you've got straightaways on a road course with some elevation change, that gives chance for drafting, for overtaking. Be interesting to see how the hybrid plays out. I believe they had a hybrid there last year. but that should help to kind of help as they're coming out of turns, give them a little boost as they head out. So we'll see how that all works.
All right. So who are your favorites in a race like this? And then we'll talk about our sleepers a little bit. And we didn't talk about this in advance, so we'll have to scramble if someone takes your favorite or sleeper. But if you guys have one on mind, go ahead and speak up. Who's your favorite for this race?
Why don't you go first this time? Oh, go ahead, Pat.
Oh yeah, that'd be funny. Newgarden has maybe not the word dominate, has won, has done really well here in the past. Obviously, probably not in the cards this year. He hasn't won since 21, so I guess it's not that far. But he has a 22. Sorry, first in 22, second in 23. Second and 24. So maybe Joseph might be the guy to win this again. He can still pull it together.
Penske swept last year, didn't they? I think.
Polo
won. You're right.
No, Powell. Wait a minute. Is Power one? That's not right.
No, I think it is actually.
Yeah, it is. Polo 1 and 23. Newgarden in 24.
So yeah, I think it was a Penske sweep last year.
Yeah, McLaughlin or Newgarden 2, McLaughlin 3. Yeah, you're right. Good call. Nice memory.
So who's your favorite?
Yeah, right.
My favorite?
Yeah.
It's a natural road course. That's Alex Palou. And he's had a couple races that have been mediocre, and I say mediocre, like he still finishes in the top 10. And not Detroit because he got rammed by Malukas, but no, I think Palou bounces back after a couple off weeks and dominates this race. So that's my favorite here.
I'm gonna go.
I know where you're going, Keith.
I'm gonna go Homer, and I'm just gonna go for Pod. I was thinking McLaren. I was considering Lundgaard because he's run so well at different road courses, but in the qualifying, Pato hasn't been so great, but he's finished second in a couple of road courses this year, I believe, and I think he's been a little conservative, and I think the consistency is probably wearing on him a little bit because I do think deep down he wants to compete to be top of the podium, and so maybe this is the week where he's able to come out and shock some people. He's nowhere in that list that you just read, and so maybe this is the time that he gets his first at Road America. And we're gonna go snake draft style and go backwards then, right? Yes. So I get to pick the sleeper. I'm going to go all Arrow McLaren, and I'm going to go with Christian Lundgaard as the sleeper.
Good sleeper.
All right.
I like it. Is it me? It's probably me then.
Back to Brian.
All right. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. It's a road course, and a guy who doesn't show up very often during the season, but seems to do on road courses, Graham Rahal.
No, stop.
I'm good putting Graham on the podium this week. Come on, Graham. You got to bounce back after that miserable performance in St. Louis.
I'm gonna go Santino. I like that he's hot. He's feeling good. He's driving this thing now. He didn't finish very well in the Grand Prix, so I don't know. Where did he win pole last year?
Portland.
Yeah. So I'm going just off the basis that he's a hot driver. He's a little bit cocky, which I like. He is juiced up, so hopefully that carries it in. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, well, he did just finish second at Detroit, and street course, road course, same thing.
Yep.
I mean, a lot smoother ride. I assume. I know that Pato, all he does is whine and cry about the street courses. Too bumpy, doesn't care for him. Detroit sucks, he says. But he gets on a road course and he's perfectly comfortable. So I know it kind of smooths things out a little bit, but I think Ferrucci has shown that he's kind of got the metal to stick in there when some guys might come off the gas a little sooner, might apply the brake a little sooner. And he's one of those guys that's willing to stick his nose in there, make something happen.
He's got a fire, man. He wants to win more than anybody except for Connor Daly, I think. So, obviously everybody likes to win, but I think there's just a little bit more under Ferrucci right now. So I'll go with him.
Yeah, it's like Maverick and Top Gun. All right, so I think that'll bring us to the conclusion of episode 26. Unless you guys got anything else.
I think we should talk about grid rivals.
Oh, all right.
Are we still doing that?
Oh, I know why Pat wants to talk about it. He didn't want to bet. He didn't want to bet on his team, but he was really happy.
Straight.
He was real happy when he came out on top.
I have
he pulled a Rocky Hughes, man. He went from 6th to 1st in like 2 weeks.
You're right. Yeah, chipped away at the leader, or to get in the lead. I forget. It was. I think I looked I don't know if I can go back, but last week the drivers. It says. I think it said Colton didn't have any overtakes, which I'm like, how is that possible?
You didn't get any points for overtakes.
It was, yeah. So I guess I'll review it real quick. Where are we at? It's Liquid Johnny's Racing. That's a shout out to Liquid Johnny's in Milwaukee. Great spot. See you here. When is that?
August.
July or September? August. Okay. That's going to be hot. Dime Life, Scott Wire. Shout out to an old racing buddy. Who's truly the light is sweet? Who is that? Do we know?
Not sure.
Who's it? All right. Well, shout out to the GR user 00381081. Congratulations, you're in third. Pato Who, Mr. Nance comes in at 4th, up a spot, right?
Yep.
Dinwiddie has dropped a spot to 5th.
Boy, who would have thought the Newgarden, Pillow, McLaughlin lineup last week would suck it up? Jeez.
I think I actually took a few hits on a couple people. I couldn't drop there's somebody I wanted to drop, but I didn't. But no,
it was Kirkwood, wasn't it? And then you ended up winning the race.
No, I picked up Kirkwood, but I had to drop somebody to get him. But I had enough money to. Beef and Noodles, Mr. Mad Dog, Ryan Maddox, down to 6th. And then Dinwiddie's daughter and Double Birds, who we don't know, round out the 7th and 8th position.
Hey, kudos to my daughter, though, because she closed the gap. She only started racing with us a few weeks ago at 500. And
I think Double Birds has exited the competition. He got 0 points last week and only has 2,000 points total.
Yeah.
So
I don't know who that is, but I might have an idea.
I gotta stay ahead of my daughter. That's my goal.
Right. You're grounded.
Grounded off your phone.
Yeah. You're off your phone for a week.
Oh, sorry. You can't fill out the grid rivals this week? I'm sorry. No, but grid rivals is actually, now that we're into it, it is more fun than I gave it credit for.
Having a little better understanding and the races being closer together, just like we said earlier, you can't have much fun in the app if you're only going to the app every 3 weeks. And we started having some little side bets because someone get a little confident about their lineup. And so that was fun too. We were actually talking about our lineups during the race this week, which is the first time that has happened. Yeah. And so that was cool. That was a lot of fun. Anyone know yet for Iowa? Could you make are you stuck with your team for 2 races? I assume so.
Ooh, because it's qualifying happens at the same.
Qualifying for both races. So probably, which makes it more interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
Good thing to start thinking about, though, because it's like you've got enough races now that you can sign guys for to get to that point. So good call.
No, it's more fun. Like when you're dropping a guy, you take the dollar hit, but it's cool because you're like, no, I want a new guard. I can afford him. You know what I mean? So it was fun. Yeah, 0 overtakes. I don't know what qualifies officially as an overtake in this sport, but Kirkwood had 27. Herta had 0. Daly had 27, so I don't know. I'll look into it and I'll let you know. But yes, I'm at the top. Liquid Johnny's. Thank you. Good night. Peace and love.
I'm feeling good this week again.
Oh boy. I have to do some research on this one. This is a little bit more of a gut thinking than
I've been setting
last week.
my lineups pretty early. I think I'm going to wait to qualifications this time.
Yeah, that is the cool thing because the ones in previous you have to set it before quals, which I get. I don't. That's fine too, but this one you can definitely do it after, which is
Yeah, but
a
man,
bonus.
then you don't even know. You're betting on a team and a racer, but you don't even know if a guy's engine's going to blow, and they're going
Yeah,
to be scrapping together something to the last second. This gives you the opportunity to wait or make changes, even if you need to
sure.
make changes.
These are fun because this is you really have to look at the history and stuff like that for this race. I think last week you could have just picked the top 3 Penske's like Dinwiddie did and probably be pretty safe, but not last week. Usually you would be. So yeah. Checkered Shorts, another one in.
Yeah, episode 26 on the backside of our goal, getting to 50.
27 might have to be another Marco Andretti.
Hey,
When we
when
get
you got a
there.
history, when you got a career like that, you might get mentioned more than once.
Right.
All right, thank you for joining us again on Checkered Shorts. We'll
Cool.
catch you next time.